Thank you。大家好，我是 Cindy。今天这个讲座呢，我是协助我们的 Gard 教授，还有我们的翻译者是 Eric，来帮大家做一些沟通。那在 Gard 教授开始之前呢，我先做一个简单的Gard 教授的介绍。那我们已经都是Gard 教授是我们的老朋友了，我相信大家都已经对教授非常熟悉了。刚才 Karen 也说呢，今天是 Gard 教授跟我们这个群体做的第8场的讲座。那如果大家对之前的讲座有兴趣呢，就回到我们的群里边。Karen 应该已经把这些之前的讲座的录音录像都有发给大家来分享。那么 Gard 教授呢，他目前是在内华达大学拉斯维加斯分校哲学系教授中国哲学和印度哲学。那么在 UNLV 任职之前呢，他担任注册会计师和财务规划师25年。那到目前为止呢，他写了6本书，其中包括1985年写的是《时间之沙上的足迹》，他的导师的故事，还有一本是法厄同我们的神话时刻，一个阐述我们当前困境的古希腊的故事。最近的一本书呢是讲的猴子，我们的神话时刻，讲的是中国的宏伟史诗。那最近，就是 COVID 这3年，他又另外写了3本书。那Gard 教授在帮助我们玉然下基金会的同时呢，他还成立了好几个，就是协助和成立了好几个就是 charity，叫做
慈善基金，
谢谢，慈善的机构，那么帮助儿童，帮助内华达州的一些儿童无家可归的这些人士，还有呢，就是他和他的太太呢，还建立了一个内华达州南部医学会的一个基金会，专门帮助那些无法负担医疗的这些穷困的人士。那我就在这里把这个麦交给 Gard 教授，由他开始啦。Okay, Gard, over to you now.
Well, Nin hao and welcome everyone, and thank you for inviting me back. Tonight we're going to take a wonderful journey, and the journey will carry us beyond this planet to a wonderful university called the universe.
就是高尔教授跟大家问好，然后说今晚我们会踏上一个前往这个我们天堂之旅的旅程。
So this book, the Urantia book, is very big and has lots of information in it about the universe that we live in and about the universe that lives inside of us.
刚才那本书就是《玉兰下之书》，就是非常非常厚的一本，就是用英文是原文的。他说里面有很多我们生活的宇宙，还有我们生活在宇宙里面，宇宙也生活在我们里面，还有很多的资料。
And the universe has given us 2 hemispheres of our brain, one to learn about the universe out there, and the other to learn about the universe inside of our hearts.
他说我们的大脑分成我们知道有2个半球，就对，然后一个半球，一个半边的脑是去了解外面的宇宙，一个半边的脑是去了解我们内心的宇宙。
So to begin, we will start with 3 minutes of silence to dive into the deepest places of our heart, so we are prepared for our journey. So I will begin by sharing screen, and we'll have a 3 minutes of meditation. And if you would take a deep breath in and breathe out very slowly, and then another deep breath in and breathe out very slowly. And we will take 3 minutes of silence to prepare our minds.
我们现在会做个3分钟的静心冥想。
So take a deep breath and begin to slowly open your eyes.
深呼吸，然后慢慢打开你的眼睛。
So even though our experience on this planet feels sometimes unfriendly, the most important message tonight is that you live in a friendly universe and that this life extends all the way to the heart of the universe, to paradise.
说，尽管我们有时候会觉得我们并没有生活在一个友好的星球上，但是今晚最重要的讯息就是说，我们是生活在一个友好的宇宙里面，然后这个会一直延伸到宇宙的中心，直到天堂。
So to know first that their universe is a vast university with very friendly professors, and that there are trillions of inhabitants in our universe, just like us.
就我们宇宙是所浩瀚的大学，然后有着许多非常友好的教授，然后有数以万计的居住者，就像是我们。
And most importantly, that there is life after death, and that all that is required to take this journey is a ticket, and the ticket is humility and curiosity.
就是最重要的一个讯息是说，我们死后还是有生命的，然后踏上这个旅程，只需要一张车票，然后这张车票就是你的谦虚跟你的好奇心。
Humility recognizes that we have much to learn and that we should honor one another on this journey. And curiosity is the attitude of wanting to learn and to grow spiritually on this journey.
就是谦逊，就是要了解说我们还有很多东西要学，然后我们应该在这段旅程上要互相尊重彼此。那好奇心就是要在这段旅程，我们要有那种想要学习的一个精神。
So we're going to give you a map of how the universe is laid out. And this map will help you understand how we progress after we leave this planet, after our death.
就是我们现在会呈现一个宇宙的一个地图，对不对？这张地图将会帮助我们了解我们死后离开地球之后，我们的进展的路程。
At the center, if you can see my cursor, at the center of this map is paradise, which is where God or the Tao dwells. And this is a place beyond time and space. So though we paint it as having position, it is beyond time and space.
就是在这个地图的正中间是这个神或是所谓的道所在的地方，那它是超越时间跟空间的。即使就是我们在这张地图上有看到它的实体，可是它事实上是没有位置，是超越时间跟空间的。
And around paradise is the central universe, which is 1 billion perfect spheres, much, much larger than our planet.
它说围绕着这个天堂中间是那个中央宇宙，它是这个完美的星球，然后大概有10亿多个完美的星球，啊，它比我们的地球是大非常非常多的。
And around the central universe are 7 super universes, and we live in one of those super universes, and there are 1 trillion inhabited planets in our super universe.
就是围绕着这个刚才说的中央宇宙外面是有7个超级宇宙，那我们的地球就是在其中一个超级宇宙里面。那这样的像地球这样的有人居住的有居住者的地方，大概有1万亿个类似我们这种地球。
And beyond the 7 super universes are outer space levels, which have not yet been inhabited. But imagine the largest stadium where soccer is played, and the size of the 7 super universes is a tennis ball in the center of the stadium, and the outer space levels is the rest of the stadium.
在我们这个居住空间外面是有个外部空间层，那这个外部空间层你可以想象，那边是还没有人居住的地方，你可以想象就是我们这个中央宇宙大概是一颗网球，那可是这个外部空间你可以想象它是一个足球场，就是非常非常巨大的一个外部空间，目前还没有人居住的地方。
So now you have a little sense spatially of how the map looks.
所以现在我们大概可以了解，就是以空间的角度来看，大概这个地球是怎么，这个宇宙是怎么样的形成。
We're told in the Urantia book that we begin our journey as biological evolutionary mortals having a history here on this planet that goes back 500 million years to the time of single-celled organisms.
就是预览夏之书说，我们是从生物进化性的凡人开始的，然后在这个星球上，大概5000万亿年，我们大概是从单细胞开始。
And that we have a destiny to become divine spirits of perfected being.
我们有一个天命，就是说我们要成为一个完美化的存在的神性之灵。
So we humans possess the lowest type of personality, God the highest, even supreme, ultimate, and absolute, which are 3 levels of reality.
就是人类拥有最低类型的人格，神则拥有最高的，甚至是至高、终极和绝对的人格，就是有3个层次的实相。
So heaven, thank goodness, is a peaceful place where our souls live and grow forever, where then those we loved and lost are all there together, a place that has answers to all the questions we had, where no one is ever in pain and no one is ever sad. It is a place of beauty and peace, a place of joy and laughter, a place that we will call our home.
这边对这个天堂的一个描述，就是说天堂是一个宁静的地方，我们的灵魂永远生活在那里。我们曾经爱过并失去的人们都在那里团聚，一个有答案的地方，对于我们所有的问题。在那里没有人受苦，没有人悲伤，一个和平美丽的地方，一个充满欢乐与欢笑的地方，一个我们将称之为家的地方。
And so this gives you again a picture of the map. At the bottom, you see the planet Earth, and we're part of a solar system, and we are part of a local system. There are 1,000 inhabited planets in our local system, and that's part of a constellation, and that is part of our local universe. And our local universe is very, very big. We have 1 million inhabited planets, or 10 million. We'll know in a moment. Sometimes I forget the numbers. And out of the local universe, we have a minor sector, a major sector, and then on to the central universe and paradise.
这个再一次就是让我们大概看一下我们这个整个宇宙的结构，就是从我们地球开始，我们是属于一个太阳系，然后这个太阳系是属于一个地方系统，那这个地方系统大概有1000个有居民的星球，那我们的地方系统也属于星座，我们等一下就可以大概知道这个数字，等一下有一张 slide 会有讲一些数字，就是有多少个星座，多少个地方系统。那这个星座也属于一个地方宇宙，然后你们可以继续看，就是属于较小的山区、较大的山区，然后最后就属于中央宇宙。
So here you have the breakdown. So in the super universe, there are 7 trillion, right, inhabitable planets. Not all of them are inhabited yet, but there are 7 trillion inhabitable planets. In the local systems, there are 7 billion local systems. Constellations, 70 million. local universes, 700,000, minor sector, 7,000, major sector, 7,000, and there are 7 super universes. Again, all of that the size of a tennis ball inside of your largest stadium.
就是这边就大家可以看到一些数字，就对，就是例如就是在这个宇宙里面有大概7万亿个有居民的有人居住的地方，然后有71个本地宇宙，就大家可以看一下这些数字，然后就是大家就是可以想象，就是说这些都是一个小小的网球，在一个很大很大的足球场里面。
So the goal of the children of time and space is to find the eternal God, to comprehend the divine nature, to recognize the universal Father. God-knowing creatures have only one supreme ambition, just one consuming desire, and that is to become, as they are in their spheres, like him as he is in his paradise perfection of personality and in his universal sphere of righteous supremacy.
这里讲到就是时间类的子女的卓越目标，就是去发现永恒的神，去领悟神的本质，去认知万有之父。知晓神的受造物们只有一个至高抱负，就是一个强烈的愿望，那就是如同神处于他天堂人格的完美中，并处于其正直无上的宇宙领域中，那样的在我们所处的领域中变得像他一样。
So when it says universal Father, God or the Tao is beyond gender.
当我们说到万有之父或是道的时候，它是超越性别的。
And you should know that the journey is both quantitative, which means we literally take a journey from this planet on the edge of the super universe all the way to paradise, but it is also qualitative, which is the growing experience of God's unconditional love, infinite compassion, and undying hope.
所以我们应该知道这段旅程它是定性也是定量的，就是定量就是说我们事实上有个物理，就是我们从这个地球从这个超级宇宙边缘一直往天堂走。那所谓定性就是说我们必须要去体验这个神的无条件的爱，然后他无限的同情跟他永恒的一个希望。
So this again gives you a sense of the journey that we are on. At the bottom, you see our planet, and we are living here now on planet Earth. And when we pass, we will become sleeping survivors. In other words, just like at night you will go to sleep, so when we die, there's a period of sleep. Depending on your spiritual progression, that sleep may be longer or shorter.
就是从这个图，就是我们另外一个角度来看，我们这个天堂养生，就是最下面那一阶是地球，就是我们现在所在的地方。那我们在地球死亡之后，会经过一个所谓的沉睡续存者的时期，这个就像是我们晚上在睡觉的时候。那你睡眠的时间的长短，跟你在地球上你所获得灵性进展的程度有关，就是大概就是说你灵性进展越高，你就会睡的时间越短。Okay.
And on the third level, we have the mansion worlds, which is where we wake up. And as you will see, the first 2 levels, we deal with our biological deficiencies and our mental health deficiencies. And then we become increasingly connected to and related to the divinity living inside of each of us.
就第3层，就是我们其实也常常听到所谓的宅下世界，就对了。 然后我们刚才在沉睡，然后我们会在这个宅下世界里面醒来。那在那里我们会处理我们很多生理跟心理的缺陷，对不对？然后在这处理完之后，我们会越来越多来跟生活在我们里面的神灵里面做接触。
Yes. And if you have any questions, put them into the chat because we will stop in a moment and we will cover any questions.
大家如果有任何问题的话，可以在那个聊天室留言，然后我们等一下会有短暂的那个 Q&A 问题，所以到时候可以一起讨论。
So the blueprint of the entire creation is contained in these three plans. This is the blueprint of all of creation and the blueprint for each of us.
So 就是这个是我们所有的受造物都有个蓝图，就是人生规划蓝图。那这个就是对于所有受造物的蓝图都在这三点里面。
So the Urantia book says that God is one, but God has three faces. So the universal Father, the eternal Son, and the infinite Spirit.
预言下上面说，神是唯一的，可是他有三个面相，他可以是永恒之父，他也可以是无限之子，永恒之子，他可以是万有之父，他也可以是无限之子，他可以是无限之灵。
So this divine plan of perfection attainment embraces three unique, though marvelously correlated enterprises of universal adventure. The first is the plan of progressive attainment. This is the universal's Father's plan of evolutionary ascension. This provision for upstepping the creatures of time involves the Father's bestowal of the thought adjuster and the endowing of material creatures with the prerogatives of personality.
这里讲到这个有神圣完美计划，包含三个宇宙冒险的事业。第一个是渐进性达成计划，这是万有之父的进化性扬升计划。这一提升时间内受造物的规定，牵涉了父的思想调神者的赠予，以及对于物质性受造物人格特权的赋予。
So the thought adjuster represents the very presence of God dwelling within each of us.
所以这个刚才提到这个思想调整者，就是代表了神的存在我们每一个人的心里面。
So we are born with a perfect partner, the divine God who loves us unconditionally, has compassion in every moment of our life, and carries with him her ministry to each of us through the angels.
就是我们是天生就是有一个完美的伴侣，那就是在我们内心里面的神圣的神，他无条件的爱我们，然后同情我们生命中的每一刻，然后并通过许多天使来为我们做许多的侍奉。
The Father also gives us the prerogatives of personality, which means three things. First, that you are the only one in the entire universe of all the trillions of planets and trillions of beings who is like you. You are unique.
就是父亲也刚才提到说万有之父给我们的人格特权，这句话意味着说有三件事情，就是我们第一件事就是说，在无数万亿个行星跟无数万亿个受造物里面，我们是唯一的，我们是独一无二的。
And second, we have the capacity for self-consciousness. So we have the capacity to think in abstract ideas and to do mathematics and philosophy and the sciences like no other creature.
第二点就是说，我们是有自我意识的能力的，我们是有能力可以思考啊，我们可以对一些抽象的思想进行思考，然后可以做像数学啊、哲学啊、科学方面的研究，就是没有其他受造物是像我们这样子的。
And the third prerogative of personality is that we have limited free will. We have the ability to make choices to become more than what we are, to become divine in our character, in our virtue, and in our relationships with one another.
第三个说，我们是有you just mentioned we have a limited free will, right?
Limited free will, which means we can't make choices that allow us to do anything. We don't have unconditional power.
就是我们是有限的自由意识的，然后我们有能力可以做出选择，然后我们可以对我们的个人美德啊，跟别人的关系啊，然后都做出一些我们自己决定的事情。可是我们这个选择并不是说无限力量的，是有限制的。
But that limited free will is actually very, very powerful because we have the ability to choose to become divine.
当然，即使是说我们这个是有限制的，但它是非常非常具有力量的，因为我们可以选择去变成为神圣的。
The second part of the divine plan is the bestowal plan. This is the proposal of the eternal Son and consists of his bestowal of the sons of God upon the evolutionary creations to incarnate and make real the love of the Father and the mercy of the Son to the creatures of all the universes.
这个神圣计划的第二部分就是属于赠与计划，这是永恒之子的提议，包含其将神之众子赠予到进化性的造物上，化身并向所有宇宙的受造物们兑现父之慈爱与子之仁慈。
And the third dimension of the divine plan is the plan of mercy ministry. The infinite Spirit puts into operation the tremendous and universal enterprise of mercy ministry with all the personalities of the infinite Spirit, including angels.
第三部分是仁慈侍奉计划，无限之灵与包括天使在内的无限之灵的所属所有人格体一起投入运作这一巨大而又普遍的仁慈侍奉事业。
So there are actually more angels on our planet than there are human beings.
所以高尔说，事实上在我们这个星球上的天使的数量是比人类的数量还要多的。
So we cannot see these angels, but we can ask for their help as we move through this life.
我们没有办法看到这些天使，但是我们可以向这些天使们提出我们的需要帮助的地方。
So we can experience the indwelling presence of the thought adjuster. We can experience the unique and wonderful prerogatives of personality. We can learn a little bit about the bestowals of the sons of God. There have been 4 major bestowals. And we can sense, not see or touch, but we can sense the presence of angels.
就这边提到说，我们可以体验到，就是刚才所提到的，我们的内在思想调整者，那我们可以体验到我们所被赋予的人格特权。那对于这个赠与计划，我们 可以稍微了解一些关于这个圣语计划，就是它有4次的赠与计划。那我们可以感觉到这个天使，即使我们看不到他们，但是我们可以感觉到这个天使的存在。
So the greatest gift that any of us have been given is the indwelling presence of God, the thought adjusters, who is the perfect partner, who loves us unconditionally on this journey.
就是我们被赋予的最美好的礼物，就是我们内在都有一个思想调整者，他无条件的爱着我们，然后陪伴着我们走上这趟天堂之旅。
One of those bestowal sons, Jesus, said this as to how we become eternal, how we move past this life. By faith, you are justified. By faith, you are saved. And by this same faith, you are eternally advanced.
这是其中一位赠与之子，就是耶稣他所说的话。他说：“你会因信称义，你会因信得救，并因这同样的信仰，你永远的前进。”
A very interesting question. And what is faith? And that will be a topic for another day.
就是有一个非常有趣的问题，就是说什么是信仰？我相信很多人可能都并不是很确定什么是信仰。那不过这个是一个很大的话题，所以留到改天再讨论。
So now let's take a break and have some questions.
现在我们暂时停一下，然后看大家有什么问题。我来看 Cindy 有什么问题，你有整理一下了吗？
我看到了，Gard, there are 66 people in this audience now, and many of them already sent ni hao at the beginning, and there are quite a few questions here, so I will go one by one. Number one question is, what qualification is required to become a sleeping what's the word? Sleeping subject?
Survivor.
Sleeping survivors. To become a sleeping survivors, what are the qualifications required?
所以第一个问题就是我们要成为沉睡续存者。刚才说到第2阶段，我们是沉睡续存者，就是死亡之后的。那我们需要什么条件才能成为沉睡续存者？可以告。
So the only qualification is that you be humble. In other words, that you have the ability to listen and be kind and be patient and be curious.
就说，首先我们必须要谦逊，刚才就提到谦逊跟好奇，然后你要必须能够倾听，然后必须要友善，然后有耐心。But Gard, I have one question. I remember, is it true we live in the earth and then we need to pass like 7 circles? And if we reach the 3rd circles, then we can become a sleeping survivor. Is that true or not?
No, you can become a sleeping survivor on the 7th circle, but if you reach the 3rd circle, you will move to the next level quicker.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
我刚刚问高尔教授，就是说我印象中就是我们在地球上要通过7个类似7个阶段、7个圈子就对了。那我以为就是我们必须要进展到达第7个圈子才能够变成续存者。不过高尔说，你第1个圈子，即使你没有达到那个目标，就像我们要进行修行就对了，即使你没有达到那个目标，你也可以变成续存者，只是你要花更久的时间在睡眠里面。So you mean we need to sleep longer, right, before we can wake up?
You sleep longer, but you won't know that you slept longer. You could sleep for 1,000 years and you will think you just slept for one night. And it doesn't mean that you're any less loved than anybody else.
所以高尔教授说，即使就是你在灵性进展没有到很前面的人，你必须睡比较 长的时间，可是你不会感觉，你没有意识到你睡了那么长的时间。即使你睡了1000年，你醒来你也不会觉得你睡了1000年，所以你也不会觉得你被少爱了一点。OK，
So I'm seeing honor with oxygen, and I'm saying a little prayer for you, honor. I'm saying a little prayer for you.
so could you repeat? Sorry, I did not get it.
I see honor on the screen, and she has an oxygen mask.
Oh, I see, I see.
I'm saying a little prayer for you.
所以有个人戴着氧气罩吗？还是什么？有谁这样的吗？我没有注意到。Anyway,
Yeah.
OK，
So any other questions?
Yes. So next question is the higher of the spiritual growth, the shorter of the sleeping time.
Mhm.
So stage 1 and 2 both belongs to the earth, the space of the earth. Is that true?
So phase 1, which is again our life now on this planet, is on Earth. When we become sleeping survivors, I don't think we're still on Earth. In other words, ghosts, according to the Urantia book, do not exist.
不错。所以刚才的问题是说，灵性进展，我们刚才有讲到第一层跟第二层。那问题是说，第一层跟第二层都属于地球的时空吗？那高老教授是说，第一层是地球，就是我们处在的地球；第二层他认为不是在地球。就像阅览下之书说，so Gard said the Urantia book said there's no ghost.
So once we die, we go forward, not backward. So our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents, they don't come back to visit us, but we will see them again.
OK， 所以高尔教授说，我刚才问他说，他说阅览下说没有鬼这件事，或是说不是那种像我们父母的灵会回来看我们。他说，根据阅览下之书，他们是不会回来看我们的，他不会往回走，不过他会在未来这个宅下世界那边等着我们。
So I know many who have had experiences after somebody has passed of somebody returning to comfort them. And I don't have the answer to that, other than that maybe for a moment, if there's a loved one in your life, you may be able to go to that child and give them comfort before you move into the sleeping phase. I just don't know.
所以高尔教授说，继续解释刚才那个问题。他说，也许有些人会经验到，就说，死后他们所爱的人会回来看他们。高尔教授说，他个人是没有答案的，不过他说，也许就是在他们成为这个沉睡的续存者之前，也许有一点点时间，他们可以回来看他们的亲人这样子。不过他不是很确定这一点。OK。
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think a lot.
Well, we have more material, and you'll learn a lot about the next phase pretty soon.
高尔教授说，他知道他有很多问题，不过也许在接下来的一些讲的这些的 slide 里面会得到答案。不过我们可能 so maybe one more question for now.
Yeah.
Here there are 5 or 6 more. So
Yeah, we're good. This is a very interesting topic.
we can quickly go over. Stage 3 and stage 4, are these kind of equivalent to the third dimension or fourth dimension we talk about on Earth?
So when you say third or fourth dimension, we will have new bodies in the next world. And we will have new bodies all the way up. So it's very similar to you have a car, and the car is good for 10 years, and then you get a new car, and it's good for 10 years, and then you get another new car. And so this body is really just a vehicle for this journey, and we will be getting new bodies as we move through the university.
高尔教授是说，就是我们在下一个世界，就是未来的旅程上，我们会得到新的身体，然后就是类似于我们有一辆车，这个车开了10年，我们就会换一辆车，然后再开了10年会换一辆车，所以就是这个身体只是一个载体就对了，就是我们会在这个宇宙这个旅程中一直获得新的身体。So how about this dimensional things like the third dimensional, fourth dimensional is any related to, because we talk about dimensional quite often, right?
So there are really only 3, maybe 4 dimensions. One dimension is this material body that we have. The other dimension is our mind. And the third dimension is spirit. And the spirit dimension is unlimited in terms of its growth. And so there are many, many phases of the third dimension. We will eventually become not material, but spiritual beings, beings of light. And I want to say that fourth dimension has something to do with light. That, again, my daughter actually experienced an angel at the foot of her bed, and it was this glowing light. And I asked her how she felt, and she said, "Dad, I feel very loved." I said, "How long did the light stay?" She said, "Until I fell asleep."
就是高尔教授他们解释的这个 dimension 次元，可能跟一般大家了解的可能不太一样。他说大概有4个维度，第一个就是我们的身体，就是物质身体；第二个就是有关心智方面的；那第3个是有关灵性方面。那这个灵性的维度是可以无限的成长的，就是说它第3个灵性阶段是有非常非常多阶段的。然后最终我们就会离开这个物质阶段，变成一种所谓的灵性的存在。那有关第4维度，他认为是跟光有关的，就是到了光的层次的第4个维度，所以他跟我们的所谓了解的维度是不同的。然后他说有一次就是他的女儿就是在睡觉，在他床上感觉到了天使，感觉到了光，然后他就问他说是什么样的感觉，然后他女儿就说是一种爱的感觉。那他就问他女儿说：“但这个感觉维持了多久？”他就说：“直到他睡着为止，这样子。”所以这个层次 dimensional， 他解释可能跟我们一般所了解的不一样，对不对 ？OK。
So the Taoist philosopher Chuang-Tzu likes to talk about butterflies a lot. So right now, as human beings, we are like caterpillars. And caterpillars do not understand butterflies. But when we move to the next phases of our existence, we will become more and more like butterflies. And we will in time literally be able to fly like butterflies. And as Eric knows, as a physicist, there are limitations if you have a physical body in terms of the speed at which you can fly. Eventually, we'll be able to fly faster than the speed of light. Why? Because we'll be spiritual beings, not material beings.
就是高尔解释，就是说，也许有很多东西我们并不了解，就像说庄子喜欢谈到蝴蝶，就是我们大概都知道一些寓言故事，然后就说，当蝴蝶还是毛毛虫的时候，它永远不能了解蝴蝶。就像我们现在可能永远不能了解这个灵性存有一样，那可是终有一天我们会像蝴蝶一样的飞翔的时候，我们就可以了解蝴蝶了。那当你是毛毛虫的时候，你可能对蝴蝶那个世界不是很了解，就对了。 就像以物理来讲，就是当你有一个物质性的身体的时候，你怎么样飞都飞不快。可是当你变成一个灵性存有的时候，你就会飞得比光速还快，因为你就是个灵性的存在了。
Okay. Any other questions before we move?
Yeah, there are 4 here. You want to finish them or move on to slides and answer later on?
Well, let me move on to the slides because the slides may answer some of the questions that people have. And then if you still have the question, please ask Cindy, and thank you, Cindy, to repeat the question. So I will move to the slides.
就是我们现在先讨论这个slide 里面的东西，然后因为也许这些接下来讨论会厘清大家一些问题。那如果还有问题的话，我们等一下可以再讨论。
So there are 7 very important truths from the Urantia book. So first, God is a person, a personality, and can be known and knows, that can love and be loved, and is the greatest experience in all human existence. Every person can experience God and God's unconditional love, because all humans are children of the universal Father.
就是阅览下有7个主要的真理。那第一个真理就是说，神是一个人格，它是所有人类存在中最伟大的体验。每一个人都可以体验神和神的无条件的爱，因为所有人都是万有之父的子女。
And we are all brothers and sisters in the universal, and I mean universal, all the universe, family of God.
第二个就是说，我们都是神宇宙家庭中的兄弟姐妹，这是指所有宇宙里面家庭中的兄弟姐妹。
So when we see violence on the planet, this planet Earth, it is a huge deviation from what's going on in the rest of the universe.
就是我们在我们这个地球上，有时候看到一些战争啊，这些争斗，这是跟整个宇宙所有其他地方是一个很大的偏差，就对了，没有在其他宇宙中间发生的。
Third, we will receive eternal life if we have faith, trust in the goodness of God.
第三个，我们将获得永恒的生命，如果我们对神之善拥有信仰与信任。
Love is the greatest of all the values. Truth, beauty, and goodness equal love.
第四个就是说，爱是所有价值中最伟大的。那真与善跟爱是同样的、同等的。OK。
Truth brings coherence to our life. Beauty brings attraction to our life. Goodness stabilizes our life.
就是说，真就是为我们的这个生活带来一些连贯性，那美就会带来吸引性，那这个善会把这些都稳定下来。
Number 5, God indwells each of us with that unconditional love.
第五个就是说，神带着无条件的爱内住于我们每个人之中。
Number 6, every person has a unique and eternal purpose, the will of God. So only Karen can manifest the will of God unique to her. Only Cindy can manifest the unique will of God for her. Only Eric can manifest the unique will of God for him. So we each bring a gift into life, which is our purpose in being alive.
第六点就是说，每一个人都有一个独特而又永恒的目标，就是神的意志。他这边讲说，这是强调是独特的，就是每一个人 ，Karen、Cindy，每一个人都有一个 独特的神的意志的目标。
And number 7, the eternal quest is for perfection, becoming more like God. And when we become more like God, we experience more love, more peace, and more joy.
第7点就是永恒的追寻是为了完美，变得更像神一样。当我们变得更像神一样之后，我们就会得到更多的爱，更多的平衡，跟更多的喜悦。
So these 7 truths are very important to understand as we move through this life into the next life.
这7个真理是非常重要的，是我们必须要了解。当我们从这个世界，当我们移到下个世界的时候，这是非常重要的事情。
So there are 7 stages in our pilgrimage. The first is we are in now, planetary mortals, having this very short experience on this very intense life. Second is sleeping survivor, where after we die, we go into sleep. Third is the experience of being on the 7 worlds, the mansion worlds, where we learn about the universe and we become much, much closer to God. Fourth is the Marancha progression, where we become more and more spiritual. Fifth is super universe wards, where we really understand what the journey is, and we are becoming even more like God. 6 is Havona pilgrims, which is the experience of the central universe. And 7 is a paradise arrival. We will only be talking about 1 through 4, a little bit 5 tonight.
这个就是刚才那个7个阶段，就是所谓我们的朝圣之旅的7个阶段。那第一个阶段就是行星类的凡人，就是我们现在。然后第2个是沉睡续存者，第3是宅下世界学习者，在那里我们会学习到很多东西，让我们会更了解神。第4个是灵知性的进展者，那我们会渐渐的变得远离物质性，变更趋于灵性。那第5个是超级宇宙的监护者，第6个是哈瓦那朝圣者，那我们就会变得更加了解神，跟中央宇宙。那第7个是天堂到达者。在这一次就今天的讨论会，我们会大概讲1到4，一点点的第5，有时间的话讲5，然后下一次讨论会讲5、6、7。
And there's actually an 8th step, which is that after we reach paradise, we begin to move back out into the universes.
事实上还有第8个阶段，就是当我们事实上到达天堂之后，我们会开始往回走，回到这个宇宙当中。
So as planetary mortals, the first stage of our universe career begins on Earth, which is called Urantia, as our planet is known throughout the universe. After our short and intense test here, we proceed toward the Isle of Paradise. On Urantia, you pass through a short and intense test during your initial life of material existence.
这边讲第1个阶段，行星类凡人。我们的宇宙生来的第1个阶段始于地球，就是预览夏。预览夏是说，是我们星球在整个宇宙中的一个名字。在地球上短暂而又严峻的试炼后，我们会前往天堂，向天堂岛前进。这是预览夏里面的一段话，就是说在预览夏上，你们会在你们拥有物质性存在的最初生活期间，经历一段短暂而又严峻的试炼。
So here on Urantia, we have a dual nature, as I said before. We come from evolutionary roots, from our monkey ancestors, and we become divine or spiritual. In every mortal, there exists a dual nature, the inheritance of animal tendencies and the high urge of spirit endowment. During the short life you live on your rancho, these two diverse and opposing urges can seldom be fully reconciled. Throughout your lifetime, the spirit ministers to assist you in subjecting the flesh, or our biological nature, more and more to the leading of the spirit.
就像我们之前讲，他说在月亮虾上面，我们是拥有双重本性的。第一个是进化性的、生物性的，刚刚就提到，例如就是我们这个猴子的祖先这样子。第二个是属于神性的、灵性的。然后书中写到说，每个凡人身上都存在着一种双重本性，即对动物性倾向的继承，以及对灵性禀赋的高度渴求。在你生活在玉兰虾的这段短暂生命期间，这两种不同且对立的渴求，很少能够完全的被调和。不过，贯穿你的一生，联合之灵一直都在侍奉，来帮助你使肉身越来越多地服从于灵的领导。
As I tell my students at the university, when we experience fear, anxiety, and anger, we are connected to our biological roots, which is actually a very good thing, because without fear, anxiety, and anger, we wouldn't be on this screen tonight.
就是高尔在大学里面教书嘛，他跟他的学生说，当我们经历这个恐惧、焦虑跟愤怒的时候，就是因为我们是双重性的，所以我们就会比较偏向于我们这个生物性的根源连在一起。不过他说，事实上这些是个好事情，就对了。然后他是说，如果我们没有经历这些恐惧啊、焦虑跟愤怒的话，今晚我们也不会在这个会议上面一起见面。
But then I tell my students, you also have some experience of love, joy, and peace. And as Charles Darwin said, compassion is actually a more important emotion in the sequence of evolution than fear.
就是他高老说，他同时也告诉他的学生说，我们也是经常有一些爱呀、和平这种宁静和平的一些经验。他说，达尔文曾经说过，就是在这个进化里面啊，就是同情事实上比你的恐惧更加的重要，这样子具有同情心。
So the story of Monkey and Swansong illustrates our dual nature, that you have Monkey and Pigsy and Sandy and the monk who all become Buddhas, right? But Pigsy is consumed by anxiety and greed, and Sandy is consumed by anxiety, and each one has each of those emotions. And what we learn in the story is that those emotions can be transformed into the attributes of the Buddha: love, joy, and peace.
就是我们很熟悉这个唐三藏的故事，就对了。他说这个故事告诉我们，就是我们都是双重本性的，然后最终这些不管是猪八戒啊、孙悟空啊、沙悟僧，他们都会变成了佛教徒，就对了。那这就是告诉我们说，即使猪八戒当初他可能是焦虑跟贪婪是他的特性，然后我们每个人都有这种不同的情绪，可是我们可以透过学习，然后这些情绪都是可以被转化的。然后经过转化之后，我们就会都变成佛陀，然后就都会具有这种爱啊、喜悦跟和平的这种本性。所以这个就是我们的本性可以从我们的生物性转化成神性这样子。
Monkey has to learn a very hard lesson which is that anger is not real power. He learns it from the Bodhisattva Kuan Yin that compassion is the greatest power in the universe.
就是孙悟空可能就是从这里学到一个惨痛的教训，他就说生气就是愤怒，并不是最大的力量，就对了。他从可能故事里面，他从观音那边学到这个惨痛的教训，说慈悲才是宇宙中最伟大的力量。
So I love this story so much, I wrote a book called Monkey. And this is a statue here in Las Vegas. So if any of you ever come to Las Vegas, we will drive over, have a lovely meal, and look at the statue.
高尔教授说，他非常喜欢这个《西游记》的故事，所以他自己甚至写了一本关于《西游记》的书。那这个雕像居然是在拉斯维加斯。然后他说，如果大家下次有机会去拉斯维加斯的话，他可以开车带大家去看一看，然后享受一顿美好的晚餐这样子。So this statue is in Las Vegas?
Yeah. So
Who built this statue?
in Chinatown.
Oh, in Chinatown. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. I love the statue. It's got all the characters. So this is the book, and I'll bring a few copies when I come for our conference sometime in 2024.
就是高尔教授说写的那本书，他说，刚才那个雕像是在拉斯维加斯的中国城里面，他非常喜欢。然后他说，刚才他写那本书，有机会来亚洲的话，他会带几本过来这样子。OK。
So there are so many planets, and we might think that maybe we're insignificant. But the Urantia book says your planet is a member of an enormous cosmos. You belong to a well-nigh infinite family of worlds. But your sphere is just as precisely administered and just as lovingly fostered as if it were the only inhabited world in all of existence.
就说我们的地球，就是我们可能会认为它是非常非常不重要的一颗星球，因为在这个庞大宇宙里面非常微小，我们可能认为它不重要。可是书中写到说，你们的星球是一个庞大宇宙体系中的一个成员，你们属于一个由无数世界所形成、几乎无限之家庭。不过你们的天体是如此精确的管理及慈善的培育，就好像它是所有存在中唯一被居住的世界一样。
So stage 2, once we pass from this life, is sleeping survivors. So stage 2 of our universe career begins after we leave Earth. Death provides us with a natural means of moving forward from Urantia. The Urantia book says we have nothing to fear. We are not alone in this journey. Inside each one of us is the indwelling presence of God, the thought adjuster, the divine companion who patiently waits for us to respond to its spiritual counsel, so we may be safely guided through the immense universe. And the angels assist us in this passage as well. The Father's love follows us now and throughout the endless circle of the eternal ages.
这里提到就是第二阶段沉睡续存者阶段，就是我们宇宙生涯的第二个阶段是在我们离开地球之后开始，就是死亡事实上为我们提供了一个从预览下前进的一种自然方式。预览下之书说，我们没有什么需要害怕的，在这一旅程中，我们并不孤单，我们每个人的内心都是内住的神之灵在，就是思想调整者。他耐心的等待我们回应其灵性建议的神性友伴，以便我们可以在穿越广阔宇宙时安全地收到指引。而且天使也在途中协助我们。这边提到父之爱 此时跟随着我们，并贯穿永恒时代的无尽循环。
After we die, we rest in an unconscious sleep. Whether we sleep for 3 days or 300 years, we will have no memory of the passage of time. But travel time to the mansion worlds is fast. We can be resurrected as soon as 3 days after our death. The length of our sleep will depend upon the progress we made while living on earth. Generally, the more we lead a balanced life on earth, the sooner our resurrection will occur after death. During our sleep of survival, our souls, spirit, and personalities are safeguarded until we are resurrected. This is from the Bible. No eye has seen, nor ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love him.
这边就是更详细的描述这个第二阶段沉睡续存者。这边提到，我们死后，我们会在无意识的沉睡中安息。无论我们沉睡3天还是300年，我们都不会对时间的流逝有任何记忆。但是前往宅下世界的旅行时间很快，我们死后最快3天就能够复活。我们沉睡的时间长短将取决于当我们在地球上生活时所取得的进展。一般来说，我们在地球上过着越平衡的生活，我们的复活就会越早发生。在我们续存的沉睡中，我们的灵魂、灵和人格都会受到保护，直到我们复活为止。下面这段是来自圣经，神为爱他的人所预备的是眼睛未曾见过，耳朵未曾听闻，人心也未曾想到的。
This picture is of Dr. Sadler, who was along with 5 other individuals, who was the person who helped to bring the Urantia book into print. He was a very famous psychiatrist, and he was a doctor, and he was a humanitarian. He helped many people. And toward the end of his life, he lived, I believe, into his 90s. He said, the transition from this world to the next is very easy. This world is very real, but the next one is much more real. The last lines have been written. The book is finished.
这张照片是这个萨德勒医生的照片，然后他跟其他5个人就是把《预览下》这本书，就是类似就是把它出版这本书的人就对了。然后他本身是非常著名的这个精神学家，也是医生，也是人道主义者，然后他帮助了许多人。然后在他生命的尽头，大概他说90几岁的时候，他说从这个世界到下一个世界的过渡非常容易，这个世界非常真实，但下个世界是更加真实。最后几行已经写好了，这本书完成了。
And Dr. Sadler was married to Lena Kellogg. If you know Kellogg's cereals, she was from that family. And she was a doctor as well. And she was the first one to believe that the Urantia book was a revelation. Dr. Sadler was very skeptical at the beginning, but Dr. Lena Kellogg Sadler was a person who really saw what this book is.
就是萨德勒医生他有他的老婆是什么丽娜凯若，他说在一开始的时候，萨德勒医生事实上对预览下这个启示是有点怀疑不确定的，可是他的老婆是非常非常肯定，然后真正的看到这本书就是所谓的启示就对了。
which leads me to the conclusion that women are a lot smarter than men.
我说这就是我们得到一个结论，就是女生比男生聪明太多了。I agree.
The imitation of God is the key to perfection. The doing of his will is the secret of survival and of perfection in survival. Peace in this life, survival in death, perfection in the next life, service in eternity. All these are achieved in spirit now, when the creature personality consents, chooses to subject the creature will to the Father's will, and already has the Father chosen to make a fragment of himself subject to the will of the creature personality.
这边提到说，对神的仿效是趋向完美的关键，对其意志的履行则是续存的奥秘，以及在续存中完美化的奥秘。当受造物人格同意选择令受造物意志服从于上父的意志，这生的平安、史实的续存、来生的完美化、永恒的服务，所有这些都会在当下，在灵性的层面上得以实现。上父已选择将他自身的一个片段服从于受造物人格的意志。
So stage 3 is the mansion worlds, which is when we wake up, where we wake up. There are large, large resurrection halls on the mansion worlds, and there we wake up, and there we will see the angels. There we will have a chance to call mom and dad, grandpa and grandma, and all the people we loved. And I hope you will all call me when you get to the resurrection halls, because I would love to hear from you.
然后我们现在进入了第3个阶段，就是宅下世界的学习者阶段。这就是我们在这个沉睡续存者的阶段，从睡眠中醒来的时候，我们会在这个宅下世界的它有一个所谓的巨大的复活大厅那边醒来。在那里醒来的时候，我们会看到天使。那我们会有机会，就是看到我们的亲人，就是我们的父母啊、祖父祖母。那高尔教授就开玩笑说，希望我们到时候也会打电话给他，因为他希望可以看到我们。We'll call you.
Yeah, please. So this is an experience that we know about in the Bible, that Jesus came back in a changed form. And in the Bible, it says, as Mary sought to embrace his feet, Jesus said, touch me not, Mary, for I am not as you knew me in the flesh. In this form will I tarry with you for a season before I ascend to the Father. But go, all of you, now and tell my apostles and Peter that I have risen and that you have talked to me.
这一段是圣经里面一个故事，就是说，当玛利亚试图拥抱耶稣的双脚的时候，耶稣说：“不要碰触我，玛利亚，因为我不再是你所知道的肉身中的我了。在我升到父那儿之前，我将会以这种形态与你们逗留一段时间。不过你们所有人此时要告诉我的使徒们，还有彼得，我已经复活了，你们已经与我交谈过了。”
So our next form will be recognizable. I will recognize Eric and Cindy and Vivian and Karen and so many of you. And you will recognize me, but it will be a different form. It will be not as gross, not as material as this form, this body.
所以我们下一个世界，在这个宅下世界，我们还是一个可以识别出的一种形体，就是God还是可以在那里认出我，认识 Cindy， 认识 Karen， 认出就是每个人他都可以认得出来。然后这是一种不同的形体，就对了，并不像我们地球上那么样的物质化的形体，或是那么 粗糙的一种形体。
Our new bodies are made of Marancha material and will require nourishment from Maranchal substances. The food and drink that we take on in the mansion worlds will transform into pure energy. No residual waste, no bathrooms. When you go from Urantia to the first mansion world, you will notice considerable change. But if you had come from a more normal and progressive world, you would hardly notice the difference, except for the fact that you were in possession of a different body. The tabernacle of the flesh and blood has been left behind on the world of nativity.
就说我们在这个宅下世界的新的身体是由灵质性的材料所组成的，并且需要灵质性的物质中获得营养。我们在这个宅下世界上摄取的食物和饮料会完全变为能量，没有残留的废物。他就说我们不需要去厕所，不需要去浴室了。当你从预览下前往第一宅下世界时，你将注意到相当大的改变。但如果你是来自一个更为正常及进步的时间性天体，那么除了拥有一具不同身体之外，这个事实之外，你几乎不会注意到其他差别。那血肉之躯已被留在你出生的世界上。
You will become conscious of all your worthwhile experiences as you advance from one mansion world to another, and from one section of the universe to another, even to paradise. From sphere to sphere, you grow less material, more intellectual, and slightly more spiritual. The spiritual progress is greatest on the last 3 of these 7 progressive worlds.
这边提到，当你从一个宅下世界扬升到另一个宅下世界的时候，从宇宙的一个区域到另一个区域的时候，甚至到天堂，你都会意识到所有你这些有经历、有价值的经历。随着从一个天体到另一个天体，你会变得物质性渐减，自信渐增，灵性也会些微的成长。在这7个渐进世界的最后3个世界上，灵性的进展是最大的。
And so we go to that next world, the mansion worlds, and there we recognize each other. We recognize those who have passed on. We recognize our children, and we are in a great state of joy, a great state of peace, and a great state of compassion.
在我们去宅下世界的时候，我们会认出彼此，然后我们也会认出我们已经过世的，不管是亲人或者孩子们，我们会处在一种就是非常喜悦、和平跟富有慈爱的同情心的一个世界里面。
After our physical death on earth, sleeping survivors will be resurrected on the first of the mansion worlds. You begin over there where you left off down here. There's no progress without your personal choices. Jesus referred to these worlds when he said, "In my Father's house are many mansions."
就是说，我们在地球上肉体死亡之后，我们变成沉睡续存者，然后将会在第一宅下世界上复活。在那边，我们会从在凡间里面中断的地方重新开始。在圣经里面，耶稣有说过，在我的家园里面有许多宅下，他所说的就是这些宅下世界。
After our unconscious sleep, we will awaken in the resurrection halls of the first mansion world, in a new and more glorious body. Our new form will be similar to the kind of body Jesus inhabited during his resurrection on earth. When we awaken, we will be greeted by our guardian angel and other loving celestial companions. After completing registration and orientation, our first 10 days will be spent exploring our new home and visiting loved ones who have arrived before us.
这里就讲得更详细，就是我们醒来的时候会发生的事情。就是我们醒来后会是一个崭新、更加荣耀的身体，在第一个载下世界上复活。然后这个新形式的，将是类似于耶稣在地球上复活时所居住的那种身体。当我们醒来的时候，迎接的是我们的守护天使以及其他慈爱的天界友伴。在完成登记和一些初步介绍之后，我们的前10天将会用于探索我们的新家，并拜访我们在之前到达这个载下世界的亲人。
So even in heaven, there is paperwork.
说即使在天堂，我们也是必须要完成一些像登记啊这种书面的一些事务就对了。
So the first mansion world, from the resurrection halls, the enormous temple of personality assembly, you proceed to the Melchizedek sector, where you are assigned a permanent residence. On the mansion world 1, we gain absolutely nothing aside from the experience of the fact of survival. We begin right there where we left off down here.
比如说，在第一个载下世界，从复活大厅醒来，然后我们会前往麦基喜德的分区，在那里我们会被分配固定的住所。在第一载下世界上，除了经历续存这个事实外，我们什么都没有获得。就是说，我们还必须从我们在地球上终端的地方开始。
Almost all the entire experience of Mansion World number 1 pertains to deficiency ministry. Survivors present so many and such varied defects of creature character and deficiencies of mortal experience that the major activities of the realm are occupied with the correction and cure of these manifold legacies of the life in the flesh on the material evolutionary worlds of time and space.
这边讲到第一个载下世界的全部经历都是与缺陷的照管有关，就是续存者们呈现许多如此不同的受造物性格缺陷，以及凡俗经验的欠缺。因此，在这里主要的活动在于纠正与治愈在时空物质进化世界上肉体生命中的这些多种遗留。
So the first mansion world is primarily our physical deficiencies. So my nephew fell from 80 feet and he has a traumatic brain injury. His brain was sheared. So it is things like that that get healed in the first mansion world.
就是高尔讲到说，第一个载下世界主要是跟我们一些身体上的一些缺陷有关。他说，例如他用他侄子的一个例子，他说他侄子从80英尺的地方掉落，他的头部有点受伤。那所以在这个载下世界，第一载下世界上，就会对这样的事情、这样的身体缺陷的进行治愈。
The second mansion world provides for the removal of all phases of intellectual conflict and for the cure of all varieties of mental disharmony, primarily the trauma that we experience here on this planet.
就是第一载下世界是跟身体有关，第二载下世界就是主要是消除自信上面的冲突，并治愈各种心理失调做准备。就是他说，第二载下世界就是主要就是针对我们在地球上受到的各种创伤进行治愈。
The third, and we'll stop here for questions, the third mansion world on this sphere, more positive educational work is begun. The training on the first two spheres is mostly of a deficiency nature, both physical and mental. Here now, on the third mansion world, is a real introduction to the intelligent comprehension of cosmic meanings and universe relationships.
这边是第3个阶段的宰下世界，在这边，在前2个我们比较注重在这个身体跟心理的治愈，然后在这个天体上就开始了更积极的教育工作。这里是对宇宙的意义和宇宙关系的自信理解的真正介绍。然后我们这边会停一下，让大家问一下问题。OK。
There are a few new questions. Do you want to start with the new questions or continue with where we left over?
Let's continue with where we left over and see if we've already answered those.
Sure.
If not, we'll continue.
Okay. Next question is why, when we ask questions to the angels or spiritual teachers, when we ask questions to these angels or spiritual teachers, sometimes there are answers, sometimes no response.
So there's always a response. The question is, are we listening for the response? And that's why at the beginning, I began with 3 minutes of silence, because listening requires deep silence. And so I encourage contemplative practice, meditation, to develop our capacity to listen, because through our dreams and through our prayers and through our meditation, we are constantly getting answers to our questions if we can hear those answers.
就是高尔是说，问题就是说，我们好像每次问天使，我们并没有得到答案。然后高尔教授是说，其实永远都是有答案，只是我们个人就是必须要经常做一些静心冥想的练习就对了。就是说，为什么他常常鼓励大家必须要练习冥想，来培养我们这个倾听的一些能力。因为他说这些答案事实上经常透过我们的梦境啊，透过我们的祈祷跟透过我们的冥想，都会给我们答案。那我们如果能够好好练习这些的话，其实我们就会不断的从这当中听到一些天使给我们的答案。
Okay, so next question, Gard, do you know about ChatGPT?
Yes.
Okay, so
it makes me very nervous as a professor.
Okay, see, it's this question is ChatGPT. What do you think it would be helpful or will be the obstacle for say Urantia book for its spreading and also see for translation?
Oh, I think it will be very helpful. And I think every tool depends upon the person who is using the tool. If the person who is using the tool has values, truth, beauty, goodness, love, then the tool is a very good tool. But if it is used by a person who is not so good, then it is a very bad tool.
Okay, I think you answered the next question as well. So it says ChatGPT is very convenient, but it may make people to think less and maybe have some negative impact on human mind and spiritual growth, and might have some jeopardy to spiritual growth, right?
Yeah.
Might be. So next question is,
我等一下翻译一下，刚才 Gard 就说，其实每个工具都不是他的问题，不是工具本身的问题，是你使用工具人的问题，就是你使用工具这个人，你本身对于这种真善美这种观念上面的价值观就对了，所以并不是说工具好不好，而是你怎么去运用它就对了。
next question is on the life or life living on the earth, the Urantia, are called human or human being. But those live on other planet, are they also called human or human being? The reason, it's Tina's question, the reason I'm asking is because in the Urantia book, sometimes the description is kind of vague and it's not, she's not sure if the way to the heaven, the seventh stage you mentioned is only exclusively for human beings on earth, or it's also the path for other lives on other planet.
It's the path for all human beings on all planets. And the real term that we have is that we are mortals. Until we become one with God, which happens on the fourth or fifth mansion world, at which time we become immortal. We live forever.
So you also use human beings for lives living on other.
Oh yes, all the other planets.
They're also called human beings.
Yeah, something similar.
Okay. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
就问题就是说，在其他星球上，就是的居住者是不是也叫人类？就是 human being。然后 God 说，对，也是叫，就是可能对人这个字的定义，我们可能就很局限在人，所以有时候我个人也是不是很确定这种人到底是指什么东西。不过 God 就说这个统称就是叫 human being，对，在其他星球。然后刚才所说的这个7个阶段，也就是适用于每一个其他星球的 human being。
And a good question, Tina. Thank you.
Next question. Thought adjuster. What's the relationship of thought adjuster and the material? Oh, no, sorry. The genetic relationship of thought adjuster and the material world. Let me finish. Does it control the thought adjuster? Does it control the function of the genetic of the genes? How was it tailor-made for us?
So great question. So the thought adjuster is spiritual. The genetics is biological. So we as human beings have the opportunity to make choices to become more spiritual. And the thought adjuster exists to help us become more spiritual. And the uniqueness of this life, as Buddha said, in being human, is that we can accelerate our spiritual progression here on this planet very fast with the help of the thought adjuster.
So the thought adjuster, does it control the genetic function?
No.
Please.
就说思想调整者跟我们的这个基因，它并不会控制这个基因。这个思想调整者就是我们等于是比较偏这种生物学的，然后思想调整是属于比较偏灵性的。那这个思想调整者内住在我们这边，主要是为了让我们变成 更加灵性、更加快速可以灵性化的，对啊，所以它并不控制我们这个基因。
So the thought adjuster adjusts our thoughts. So we may have a thought, I should rob that bank. And the thought adjuster says, no, not a good idea. Or you may have a thought, I should yell at that person. And the thought adjuster might adjust your thought and say, maybe you shouldn't yell. Maybe you should smile and be kind.
就是高尔教授说，思想调整者就是顾其名，就是调整我们的思想，对不对了？就是你可能有一个想法，说我想要抢劫银行，这个思想调整者会说，最好你不要抢劫银行，或是你想要对某个人大喊大叫，他也会说，哎，你最好是用微笑来代替，所以他就在帮我们调节我们的想法，对不对了？
So Gard, actually, I also have a question about suggester. If we use some words like we are familiar with already from previous experience, like higher self or Buddha inside or Christ, is that kind of equal?
Yeah. The Urantia book says words are valueless. What is of value is what is in your heart. So you may express your connection to the thought adjuster using Buddhist terminology or Hindu terminology or Christian terminology or Taoist terminology. Thought adjuster does not care. Thought adjuster just loves you.
I guess the Christian, in this Christian is a thought adjuster kind of equal to Buddha or
我说一下，对，我是想说，思想调整者有没有类似用一个我们比较熟悉的词来取代，比如说我们叫高我，或者叫我们内在的佛陀佛性，或者叫基督。那 God 教授就说，
对，高教授就基本这样说，用什么词汇并不是重点，就对了，就是说其实是看你心里怎么去跟他连接才是重要的，就是你不管是用佛陀啊，用基督，用什么术语，其实都无所谓，就是重点就是思想调整是爱我们每个人这样子。
So the thought adjuster would be the equivalent of Buddha nature or the equivalent of the Atman in India or the equivalent of the kingdom of God within.
就思想调整就是可以类似于不管是我们所谓的佛性啊，或是一些印度宗教，或是我们内在的国度，其实都是可以用同等来比喻就对了。
So here, there are 3 more questions. I think I'm going to share with you 2 comments, and you can decide to continue with slides or with more questions. So the comments here is from Ryan. It says, Professor Gard is absolutely right. We experienced anxiety, fear, so that's why we are here. We gather here today. And okay, and another one is from Tina, and she said, thank you, Gard. Now we all have a clear concept.
Very good.
Go to slides or more questions?
Why don't we go to more questions?
Okay. Next question is, in stage 2, what's the purpose of sleeping?
The purpose of sleeping is a very important purpose. So there are many human beings on the planet who don't think about spirit, who don't think about God or Buddha nature. There are many beings who are very ignorant of these things. So in the universe, just like in the university, we have classes. So at the university, you may be able to take an advanced course. In other words, you may be able to wake up in 3 days. advanced placement. Or you may be part of a class that comes together. So from a planet like ours, there will be very large classes, large numbers of people who wake up at the same time in the resurrection halls. And they will be very confused because they will have no idea what this is all about. But they will shortly be told.
就说，高尔是说睡觉这个沉睡是非常非常重要的。他说，因为地球上有许多人并不会对这个所谓的灵性啊，或是对神啊，或对神性做一些思考，所以很多人是非常非常无知的。那在宇宙就像是在大学里面，我们有许多课程这样子，所以大学里面我们可以参加高级课程，就是我们可以在这个沉睡中醒来之后。我们可以个别的醒来，或是我们可以参加一个很大的这个同班就对，同一班上有很多人同时醒来就对了。然后他说我们可以很多人在同时醒来，他们会非常的困惑，因为他们会不知道发生了什么事。And then, God, so you say they will wake up and confused. So what's their purpose for this sleeping?
So the purpose for the sleeping is to bring them as a whole group.
So whole group together.
So a whole group together. So you don't need a whole group if you're already in graduate school. So, but if you're only in kindergarten or first grade and you don't understand much, there's a very large class to begin with.
So it's like wait other people during the sleep? You're waiting for other folks to join?
Yeah, you may discover that you're in the advanced placement class and your mom and dad are in kindergarten.
Gard 要说是说我们这个沉睡，因为他说如果你已经在很先进的课程，你就不需要你可以单独上课。可是如果你在这种小学或是刚开始上课的时候，你就需要比较团体一起上课。那 Gard 教授好像是有提到，就是说我们这个沉睡的时候可以等待更多的人一起醒来。
So I suspect that I will be greeting my mother and father. I won't tell you anymore.
高尔教授就说，你就是父母不一定在灵性上比小孩更加进展就对了，所以他说他觉得他会在那里等待他的父母亲就对了。他说他不会再多说什么，不过大概因为高尔教授之前有讲说，如果你在地球上越平衡的话，你就会越早醒来嘛。所以就是可能就类似说，你必须要沉睡久一点，就是等待一起比较大的班级一起起来，然后醒来。然后如果你是比较平衡的话，你就很早就醒来，在那个在下世界上等待了这样子。
So some people have experienced a great deal of trauma in their lives, and that has created a mental disharmony. And so for many of those people, they will start with that large class.
他说，例如说，在地球上有很多人受到一些创伤，会造成他们一些精神上或心理上一些不和谐。那这些人就会等待比较大的那个，刚才所谓等待比较大的那个班级一同醒来这样子。
So I encourage you all to apply for the advanced placement class.
他说，所以他建议大家就是在灵性上多加进展，所以你就可以不用等待那个大的班级就对了，你可以早点在下世界上醒来。
We will. That's why we're all in this session and taking the journey with you and all reading and learning your Rangsha book and the Course in Light.
I expect to wake up and go look to my right and there's Cindy and look to my left and there's Eric.
Okay, it's our pleasure to be with you at the same level. We need to study and work very hard, even harder.
And Vicky will be greeting us all.
I just want to mention the most important woman, and I saw her in the audience. She's hiding herself.
She always does. The humble people always hide. Hello, Vicky.
Okay.
他说他觉得 Vicky 会先在那里等我们这样子，在宅下世界等待我们。
So shall we continue?
Yeah.
More questions? I'll continue with slides.
If you have more questions, let's continue because this
Okay.
is actually it might be a good breaking point, Eric, after these questions, but we'll see what the questions are.
So next question is the Mary Magdalene is this Mary is not Jesus' mother, Mary.
No, it's Mary Magdalene.
Okay.
And Mary Magdalene was a person who made very bad choices, but because she knew Jesus, she entered the advanced placement class.
哦，就问题就是说，刚才有讲到一个玛利亚的故事，因为圣经里面有我不知道有几个玛利亚，我对圣经不是很熟，不过至少有耶稣的母亲玛利亚跟一个抹大拉玛利亚。他说这刚才提到的是不是耶稣的母亲，而是抹大拉的玛利亚。他说抹大拉玛利亚虽然做了很多不聪明的事情，可是因为他知道耶稣，我不知道是因为知道还是有其他故事，所以他也是在刚才所谓的那种先进课程里面。
So you all know that you not only have a thought adjuster, but you also have what's called the Spirit of Truth, which is the Spirit of Jesus. And you also have what's called the Holy Spirit, which is the Spirit of the Infinite Spirit. So we each all have the Trinity, the Spirit of the Trinity dwelling inside of us. It's really quite a gift.
就是这边提到说，我们不是只有所谓的我们的内住思想调整者，我们还有这个真理之灵，就是耶稣的灵，这个我们还有真理之灵。那我们也有所谓的圣灵，就是无限之灵，就是三位一体无限之灵的灵。所以我们每个里面都有三个灵这样子，三位一体这样子，所以是一个非常非常美好的礼物。
So in economic terms, you are all billionaires.
我说我们都是非常有钱的人，我们都是亿万富翁这样子。
This is very encouraging because we all know you and we all know Vicky. So now we know for sure, because we didn't do a lot of bad things like that, Mary. So we're sure we will be taken to advanced class by both of you. Okay. Yeah. 就是说一下，我说那我们就好高兴，因为刚才回答的这个问题。那我们现在既然认识 Gard 教授和还有跟 Vicky， 那我们肯定会被他们带到那个高级课程里的。很有福，很幸运。So next question is about, in Buddhism, talk about the Oriental paradise or the Western paradise, especially like Amita Buddha, and says you die, you believe, and you die, you go to that. So is that paradise word equals to the first mentioned word, or maybe after resurrection? And go to this kind of Buddha's paradise first, then move to first mentioned word.
Yes. So it's a very good question. So the Amitabha Buddha, right, lives in the Western paradise. But what you learn in the Urantia book is that actually qualitatively, paradise is already within you. We do have a quantitative journey to paradise, which will take many, many years, but we already live in paradise. So as a lady here, Catherine of Siena, once said, the journey to paradise is through paradise. Do you have eyes to see and ears to hear?
就是刚才说，我们有那种西方阿弥佛陀的极乐世界，就是我们先去这边，还是先去第一宅下世界？然后高老说这是非常好的问题，就是说，事实上，这个天堂有所谓定性跟定量，定量就是说我们必须要走这个很长的一条路到真正的那种所谓天堂这个地方。可是另外在定性说天堂其实已经在我们的内心里面的。我们是从内心的天堂到外面那个天堂，就对了，就是透过我们的眼睛，透过我们的耳朵来观察这个天堂，这样子。
Great question.
Thank you. And just one extra question. It says the sleeping, to clarify, the sleeping stage is kind of procedure for some kind of transformation.
Yeah. So it's like between the caterpillar and the butterfly, there's the chrysalis, the cocoon. And in the cocoon, the caterpillar is asleep.
就刚才讲说这个刚好用这个毛毛虫跟蝴蝶来形容我们这个所谓的沉睡的续存者。他说沉睡续存者就是类似一个茧，就是我们毛毛虫躺在这个茧里面，就是我们所谓就是在这个沉睡续存者的过程里面，我们是毛毛虫在这个茧里面，然后我们在宅下世界醒来的话是个蝴蝶这样子。
Yeah,
所以
great
它也是
question.
一种转化的过程。
Okay, just a few more slides. Tomorrow I have to get up very early. I'm working on homelessness, and so I'm taking a plane very early. So we'll take a few more slides and a few more questions, and then we will come back to talk about this journey again.
OK， 所以高尔教授说他明天有很早的飞机要搭，所以他要去帮这些无家可归的人，所以我们就再讲几个 slide 跟几个问题就要结束了。OK。
So, on the third mansion world, we begin to learn a new philosophies, and it's called Marancha Moda. And it gives us a new perspective about how reality works. So down here, we say, those who have the gold rule. Up there, they say, those who have the golden rule, rule. In other words, those who understand to treat people, as Confucius said, with reciprocity and kindness, those are the people who are in control, not the dictators, not the autocrats.
So we are talking about which this slide?
We're talking about Marancha Moda, this new perspective that we get in the mansion worlds. It's not grounded in self-interest.
所以这边讲到我们有这所谓的灵质性的圆会，就是一个新的视角就对了。它是一个不基于自私自利的一种灵性的智慧的。
So there are several Marancha Modas in the Urantia book, but I'm just going to give you a few of them. The first one is the greatest affliction in the cosmos is never to have been afflicted. Mortals can only learn wisdom by experiencing difficulty or tribulation.
就是说，月览下之书有提到很多的灵性的圆会，这里我们就讲几个。第一个就是说，最大的宇宙苦难是从未遭受苦难，凡人们只有通过经历忧患，才能学到智慧。
So what we learn in the Urantia book is that when we have difficult experiences, God always goes through those experiences with us. And if we reach our hand out, will walk with us and help us through those difficult experiences.
这边说，当我们月览下之书提到说，我们学到的就是说，当我们遇到困难的时候，神总是会跟我们一起经历这些东西的。如果我们肯伸出我们的手，他就会跟我们同行，去一起度过这些困难。
So adversity or affliction is the source of wisdom. Mortals only learn wisdom by experiencing tribulation. Why? because in tribulation we get great lessons of how we can be kinder and more patient and more compassionate with one another.
就这边说，逆境一些跟苦难是智慧的源泉，就对了。我们只有经历这些苦难，我们才可以学习智慧，在困难中学习。因为在这些苦难中，我们会得到一些经验、一些教训，所以我们会更加的友善，更加的有耐心，以及更富有同情心。
So our biological instincts are instincts of self-interest. And what we are going to learn in the next life is that our spiritual instincts are instincts of unselfishness, of kindness, of patience.
就是我们个人的这种生物的本能，就是说一种比较利己的一种本能。那我们在未来的世界会有比较在这种灵性上面会是比较偏向这种无私的本能，更加的良善跟更加的有耐心的本能。
Number two, you cannot perceive spiritual truth until you feelingly experience it. And many truths are not really felt except in adversity.
第二点就是说，只有在有感觉的体验灵性真理时，你才能感知它。而许多真理只有在逆境中才会被真正的感受到。
So my greatest experience was when a friend of mine during the Vietnam War had his leg blown off, and all of his friends were killed. And I was very, very sad. And in that sadness and in my tears, I experienced God's unconditional love.
高尔说，他最大的一个经历，就是说在越南战争的时候，他的朋友的脚被炸断，然后许多他们的朋友都被杀了。然后当时他非常非常的沮丧，非常难过。可是，在同时，在他的悲伤和眼泪中，他也感受到神无条件的爱。
So my greatest insights and wisdom have come through my tears.
他认为他最大的洞察跟他的智慧是源自于他的眼泪。
And this is why Lao Tzu says the truth often sounds paradoxical, doesn't make sense.
他说这为什么老子很早以前就讲过正言若反，他说是非常有道理的。
The fourth mansion world is the experience of ascension and the demands and delights of true social life, of Morancha creatures. It is indeed a new experience to participate in social activities that are not predicated upon either personal aggrandizement nor on self-seeking conquest. Ascenders are all becoming self-conscious of God knowing, God revealing, God finding.
这边我们移到第4个展下时间，是扬升凡人第一次真正被引入灵质性受造物的真实社交生活的需求和快乐中。参加这类既不是为扩充个人权势，也不是为获取个人私利的社交活动，的确是一种全新的体验。扬升者们都逐渐变得自觉地认识神、揭示神跟找到神。
So each of us has experiences that frustrate us. And when we get frustrated, we can make a choice. We can either get anxious and angry and fearful, or we can respond with love and compassion and service.
说我们每个人都会经历这个沮丧。那当我们沮丧的时候，通常我们可以做出我们的选择，就是我们要变成很焦虑啊、很愤怒、很恐惧，还是我们要用爱跟同情跟服务来回应这个沮丧。
The fifth mansion world is a birth of cosmic consciousness, You are becoming universe-minded. Study is becoming voluntary, unselfish service natural, and worship spontaneous.
在第5个宅下世界，就是宇宙意识真正的诞生，你会变得越来越有宇宙心智，学习是逐渐变成自愿的，无私的服务变成是很自然的，崇拜变成是自发的。
So again, our brain has 2 hemispheres. One hemisphere is geared toward the world out there, to the universe out there, and the other hemisphere is geared toward the universe inside of us, in our heart, in the shin, heart mind. And by the 5th mansion world, we are learning how the universe is ordered, and we are also learning about the powerful treasure of spiritual value inside of each of us.
就是这边再次提到说，我们大脑是有2个半球，一个是管理外面的世界，一个是管理里面的世界。那就是他所谓的心就对了。然后在这个第5个宅下世界里面，就是我们会学习宇宙是这么样的有序的，然后我们也会了解到我们的内心是非常具有强大的精神力的一个宝库。
So we have 2 antennae. And to get in the advanced placement class, we have to put them up.
所以我们每个人都有2个天线，要进去这个高级班，我们就去把这个天线给展开。
On the 6th mansion world, on this world, there is often witnessed a perfect fusion of the human mind and the divine adjuster. Time is given to retreat and consider optional routes to the central universe. Still very material, far from being spirit beings. The mission of the thought adjusters to the human races to represent to be the universal father to the mortal creatures of time and space. And so on the 6th mansion world, and sometimes before, number 4, number 5, we become one, we become Buddhas. We become one with our Buddha nature. We become one with the thought adjuster. We are in partnership immortally. And when we become one, we now go from being mortals to being immortals.
这边提到这个第6宅下世界大家可以读一下这个东西。他就说，通常在这个第6宅下世界会见证到人类心智与神性调整者的一个融合。然后这段时间我们会有时间思考前往中央宇宙哈瓦那的不同路径。虽然我们还是非常物质性的，还是远非于灵性的存有。那思想调整者对于人类的使命是向时空凡人代表万有之父，成为万有之父。然后 Gard 教授就说到在这个第6宅下世界，有时甚至在更早，就是可能有些人是在第4宅下世界或在第5宅下世界，我们就会看到就是我们与思想调整者的融合，就是在这个融合时刻，也是我们从这种所谓的暂存性的凡人，会变成一种不朽性的存有，就对了，也是会在这个融合时候发生。
So it's like any friend. In the beginning, they are merely an acquaintance. You know their name. You may know a little bit about them. In time, there's friendliness. You feel warm and good about them. And after more time, there's friendship. Eric is my friend. He will always be my friend. There's friendship. And in time, there is union with the thought adjuster. The 2 become one. And with that, we become immortal.
高尔这边就形容说，一开始你可能只是知道这个人或知道这个他的名字而已，然后渐渐你会感觉到他的温暖的存在，然后接下来你们会发展出一种所谓的友谊，就对了，就是他是你的朋友，那最终你们会合一，就是你们会融合在一起，就是这边就是像是说我们与市场调整的融合。那在这个融合阶段发生了之后，我们就会变成了一种所谓的不朽。
And then on the last mansion world, this is the crowning achievement of the mansion world experience. Here you will be purged of all the remnants of unfortunate heredity, unwholesome environment, and unspiritual planetary tendencies. You really pass from the mortal state to the immortal status at the time of adjuster fusion.
好，这边我们来到最后一个宅下世界，第7宅下世界。这个宅下世界经历的最高，这是这些经历里面的最高成就。你会被清除所有掉不良的遗传、不健康的环境，以及非灵性星球的形象所带来的一些残留物。在你与思想调整者融合的时候，你真正从暂存的状态转换成不朽的地位。
Okay, I think we will stop there. So if there are any questions, I'm open to questions. And you've now gone through the 7 mansion worlds where we literally become like God. We become Buddhas in the 7th mansion world or before. And we have this wonderful awareness that we live in a friendly universe that really cares for us and wants to help us.
你说我们现在暂停看大家有什么问题，就是我们停在这个第7宅下世界，就是在这个第7宅下世界，在我们融合的时候，跟思想调整者融合的时候，我们就变成一个所谓不朽状态，对不对？那他再次强调说，我们是生活在一个对我们非常友善的一个世界里面，对不对？有什么问题吗？最后，因为Gard他明天要早起，所以我们就是再问几个问题就结束了这样子。还有什么问题吗？
I don't see further questions on the screen, but I just want to clarify the Amida Buddha, like the Buddha and Amida Buddha, are they in the real paradise, in the core, like the paradise in your first few slides? You showed very, that is the word of the paradise, heaven. Are they already there? And the ones they said, when we die, we will all go. Does that mean it's kind of a similar journey, goes to the same place? It's just different words.
Yes, so good question. So the Buddha was a human being, and he learned so much while he was on this planet that he became a Buddha. So the Buddha probably did not go to the 1st or 2nd or even the 3rd mansion world. He probably went to the 4th, 5th, or 6th mansion worlds. But he is on the same journey as all of us. And so each of us is part of this university. Now, the Amitabha Buddha is not quite like Siddhartha, who was actually a prince in India and lived as a human being. The Amitabha Buddha represents, if you will, the divine presence in the reality. So I would say the Amitabha Buddha is literally in paradise. Yeah?
大意是说，佛陀跟阿弥陀佛，就他了解是有点不同。他说佛陀是真的是一个人，他在这个地球上学习到了很多东西，所以佛陀可能他没有到宅下世界1、2、3，他可能直接到了宅下世界5、6，从那边开始。不过他也是经历了跟我们一样经历整个这个扬升之旅就对了，然后最终到达天堂。那他说阿弥陀佛可能不太像悉达多，就是不太像佛陀就对了。他就说他像是一种神性意志的在现实中的显现就对了，所以他相信阿弥陀佛是真正是在天堂的。
So I say sheshe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gard. It's It's so appreciated. And when I was listening to your presentation, and I think we're also fortunate to be here. First, we have you and Vicky taking us for sure to advanced class. Now we know. And the second is all of this knowledge in the past without Iransha book, without you sharing with us, we have to die than to go through stage by stage. Now we don't need to die, and you walk us through the whole journey. I think that is we're so fortunate, so blessed.
Yeah, when you know that we're living in a friendly universe, it changes everything. So even if there are wars and there are sicknesses and diseases, everything will be okay. Because I always tell my students, with Buddha, everything better.
就是说刚才非常非常高兴的跟我们一起这样子参加这个东西，对不对？那因为刚好时间关系，我们就不多说这些东西了。那 so God, yeah, I think it's a very good, great sessions, and I personally have so many questions, but we will leave to a next section.
Yeah.
For example, this reincarnation. I'm so curious about this reincarnation, so we can discuss more next time.
We
所以我刚
will.
刚说，我个人有很多问题，例如这种轮回，我们还没谈到我们这个轮回跟我们在天堂之旅的关系，所以我说很多问题我们可以在下次在这个天堂之旅中可以有做更多的讨论。
And I want to thank you, Eric, and Cindy, and Karen, and Vicky, and so many of you, because you bring joy to my heart. You bring hope to my mind. And there will be a day in which there is no more war, there is no more murder, in which disease, we will live long, long lives, and in which we will really, truly be family upon this planet. And so I thank you, each of you, for helping others to realize that.
就刚刚对我们就是也一些与会人士跟大家参与者都表达他的感谢，他希望以后未来的世界将是一个没有疾病，大家会互相帮助的一个世界。OK，
谢谢。
Thank you, Gard.
Thank you, Gard. And
See you
on
next
this,
time.
there are so many people just leave appreciation and so many notes. Thank you so much from many of them.
Thank you. Thank you. And we will see you, maybe, Eric, in early April or late March. Yeah?
OK，
Okay.
Sure. Sounds good. Thank you, Gard. Namaste.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gard. Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you, everyone.